Jiu-Jitsu is all fun and games for the most part. In the words of the great philosopher Nate Diaz,
you're playing touch butt with that dork in the park.
But a question that gets pushed around the Jiu-Jitsu community almost as often as whether you should or shouldn't do heel hooks is the question, how often should you be training Jiu-Jitsu? JSauce Jedi here. Let's talk about that. The answer is, it depends. What does it depend on? Well, A, what your goals in Jiu-Jitsu are. Why are you doing Jiu-Jitsu? B, how much time and energy do you have to commit to Jiu-Jitsu? What's your age? Do you have any injuries? Is there something else going on in your life that's really important to you? And last but not least, consistency. So today, we're going to be addressing all 3 of these topics. So hopefully by the end of the video, you'll have a better idea of how often you should be training Jiu-Jitsu. So let's talk goals. Why are you doing Jiu-Jitsu? Is it to be a professional competitor, get loads of money and validation? Well, if that's your reason, then probably give Jiu-Jitsu a miss. Honestly, if you're trying to make money, you're probably gonna make a lot more working at McDonald's. Maybe you wanna learn self-defense, become a more confident person, or just have a fun hobby that you like to do. These are all questions you're gonna have to answer for yourselves. I can't fill out the answer for you. I know for me personally, I just enjoy doing Jiu-Jitsu for the fun of it. It's a fun hobby. Back whenever I first started, I wanted to be a competitor, but starting around 2 years ago, I had to come to the realization that I was broke and I wasn't happy with where my life was going, and so I started putting a little bit less of a focus on Jiu-Jitsu in order to put more time into other things that I find important in my life. And honestly, I think that's a good thing, because if I was still out there trying to be the next world champion, honestly, I don't think I would have started this channel. What's up, guys? It's Tuesday today, which means it is gi night, so let's head on over there, get some solid training in. Come along. This Tuesday class, we worked on the snap down to single leg. Note the importance of clearing the elbow before you go for it, so as not to give them a window which they can use to create space. We also worked on adding on the double leg in sequence, as singles to double legs are a very powerful combination. Afterwards, we would get into some keen in the heel action, where the person who scores or submits first stays in the middle. This can be a really fun way of training, as you don't have to worry about pacing yourself and you can pretty much go balls to the wall. Afterwards, we would set the timer for 6 minutes and get into some actual rolling. All in all, in this class, we hit about 35 minutes of technique, followed by about an hour of rolling. Something that I'm constantly saying is that getting as much sparring time in as possible is a great way to exponentially improve your skills, especially when you're first starting out. The reason being, you're going to be training with actual resistance, getting real feedback, and your brain's going to be able to figure out what's going on from there. And there's also an aspect of mental toughness that this type of training instills in you. Now, how much time and energy do you have? For the first 5 years of my training, I was doing a minimum of 5 days a week. I would do strength and conditioning. On top of that, I was working a full-time job, and I was even working a second part-time bartending job at the time. And because of all that training, I did get pretty decent pretty quickly, but there was one major problem with all this. And that problem was, I had no life. Because I was sinking all of this time into just focusing on Jiu-Jitsu, my life had no balance, and it made me a very stressed. And that's why for the past 2 years now, I have been focusing on other things in my life, and Jiu-Jitsu has kind of gone down the priority list just a little bit. It's still something that I thoroughly enjoy. It's one of my favorite hobbies, one of the funnest things I've ever done. And hopefully I'll be doing it until I can't walk anymore. But honestly, since I've started living a more balanced lifestyle, my time going to Jiu-Jitsu and training, I find a lot more enjoyable than I used to. I'm no longer burnt out and completely dreading every single second of training that I have. Now I show up, I'm happy, I have a lot more energy, and I feel like I learn a lot more because of that. So it obviously is very important to be realistic about the free time that you can actually devote towards Jiu-Jitsu. That being said, don't make excuses for not showing up to class. If you're getting off of work at 4:30, and then after that you just watch your favorite Netflix show until you fall asleep, yeah, you could probably make that 6:30 class. And for all my older viewers out there, be sure to listen to your body, especially if you've had some sort of major injury in your life. You really want to pay attention to when you need to take it easy and give yourself some rest, let your body recover. This is honestly something that I've had to focus on a little more in my training. The most severe injury I've ever gotten from jiu-jitsu happened because I literally trained 14 days in a row. But because of that, I ended up pinching a nerve back in my neck, and that kept me out of jiu-jitsu for a solid 2 months. So listen to your body, let yourself recover, give yourself enough time, because that is how you're gonna have longevity in the sport and be training until you're 60, 70, and beyond. That's right, guys, it's another gi day today. We're all suited up. Let's head that way. On this Wicked Wednesday, we worked on sprawling on the takedown defense and hitting a loop choke off of it. Once I bury my head under my partner, note the importance of driving myself forward to put pressure on the choke. Off of the snap down, be sure to keep your elbow high and drive your shoulder below your partner's head to keep them from pulling out. And if they try to roll out of it, be sure to arch your back to keep your hips off of the ground. After technique was done, we were split off into groups of 3, where we would rotate so that everybody had 6 minutes on and 3 minutes off. In my group, I was paired up with a purple belt and brown belt, and we would roll with each other for almost the next hour. All said and done, we did technique for about 30 minutes and rolled for about an hour afterwards, for a total of about an hour and a half of training. A pretty solid class, in my opinion. Hey you! Are you tired of wearing generic rash guards that are either 2 sizes too tight or too big? Yeah? Do you want to get decked out in some awesome jiu-jitsu gear so that you can have all the drip? Then xmartial.com is for you. On there, you can find the highest quality jiu-jitsu gear at an affordable price. And for all the viewers of this channel, you get a special 10% discount when you use the code JEDI at checkout. Check the link in the description for more. All right, let's get back to the video. Now, let's talk about consistency. Now, I have said this before, I will say it again. It is better to start off with a solid foundation and build upon that than to go ham when you first start, burn yourself out in 3 months, and never train again. Just like when you start lifting weights, you don't want to go 5 days a week and kill yourself. Start off 2 to 3 days a week. If you can keep that up for 3 months, that's awesome. You're gonna learn a lot. Now that you have that base foundation of consistency and you feel like you can add on more days, go for it. Knock yourself out. Go ham. But just like in the story of the tortoise and the hare, slow and steady wins the race. All right, guys, it is Friday, which means we're gonna be doing some no-gi today. Now, honestly, I'm not feeling that hot right now. I feel like I got up on the wrong side of bed. I've just been kind of off all day. But you know what they say, when motivation fails, rely on discipline. I'll catch you at class. Now, I didn't end up filming my training on Friday, so you can just pretend that we're all wearing rash guards in this video. It was pretty much just an open mat all the way through. The timer was set for 6 minutes and we rolled just like normal. All in all, it was about an hour and a half of rolling 6 minutes with a 2-minute break in between rounds. So you better believe that I was exhausted by the end of this class. As far as training goes, this week was a pretty average week for me. I trained 3 days for a total of 4 to 5 hours. However, since I only trained 3 days, I was very rested for the most part and was able to push a high pace, try new things, and improve my game overall. Now, this is nothing like the training schedule that a lot of fighters and jiu-jitsu competitors have. A lot of them train 2 times a day, 5 days a week. That's fine. Like I said before, jiu-jitsu for me is a hobby. I thoroughly enjoy it, but at the moment, I find no reason to train any more than 3 days a week. And obviously, it goes without saying, you have to be the judge of how much training you need. All right, guys, this is a video that I'm very passionate about. I've been wanting to make this for a long time, so I hope you were able to learn just how important having a consistent training schedule is, and how being consistent over a long period of time is how you're actually gonna see the results that you want. Let me know down in the comments how many days a week you're gonna commit to training. Remember, start slow if you're just starting out, 2 to 3 days a week. Do that for a couple months and then build on from there. All right, Jiu-Jitsu Silencer says, awesome video as always. Thank you. Please film more footage of you rolling with your evil twin, Chris. He's almost as slick as you, exclamation mark. Well, Jiu-Jitsu Silencer, thank you. Yes, he is so annoying to roll with. Basically, our rolls look like 2 rams butting heads for 5 minutes before one scores the first 2 points and wins the round. He's a great guy though. Love rolling with him sometimes. Other days, can't stand it. All right, K-Love says, brah, have you tried golf? ? It's more dangerous than jujitsu. ... Lol, no, serious. ... All right, Kay. I'll take your word for it. And finally, Paul Morgan, love that name. Another great video! Exclamation mark. Really appreciate the detail, but is that instant coffee? Oh, okay guys, enough with this instant coffee. Now, I know I should get a French press. I'll get one eventually, I promise. Yes, I know, I'm hurting somebody's feelings right now. Okay guys, I'll make you a promise. By the time I hit 100,000 subscribers, I will get a French press. So be sure to share this video with all your friends. Get me that French press a lot sooner. If you guys feel like you learned something today, be sure to give this video a thumbs up so other people can see it as well. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Jedi. I love to do jujitsu and make awesome videos about it, which I do every single Friday. If that sounds interesting to you, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my future uploads. And if you want to follow me on Instagram to see what I do day to day, head on over, Jedi_himself, link down below. Thank you guys for hanging out with me on another Friday. I will talk to you next week. Don't forget to be great. Bye.